Thank you so much. Well, what an inspirational note to end on. And we have reached the end of our 2019 Global Grand Challenges Summit. And it falls to me, Hayaatun Sillem, the CEO of the Royal Academy of Engineering, to say just a few words to round things off. Now, as is customary on such occasions, we do need to say some thank yous. You all know that things like this don't happen without a huge amount of work behind the scenes. So I'd like to start by thanking our fantastic partner academies, the US National Academy of Engineering, who of course originated the concept of the Engineering Global Grand Challenges, and the Chinese Academy of Engineering, without whom this series simply wouldn't exist. I would like to, yes, let's do it. We're going to get lots of clapping in. There is lots more clapping to come. I would now like to thank John Lazar and David Tomlinson and the Summit Steering Committee, who I hope you'll agree have done an absolutely exceptional job of curating a really stimulating and varied program for all of us. I would like to thank our sponsors, whose support has of course been essential to making this all possible. Our principal partner, the UK Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, and in particular the Global Challenges Research Fund. Our summit partner, Accenture Strategy. Our founding funder, Lockheed Martin, and our program partner, EPSRC. And I would like to thank all of our speakers, what an incredible selection of speakers, and mentors who work behind the scenes for their important contributions. They're what make this summit. And also I'd like to specifically thank David Rowan, who I think has been a great moderator, and he steered us through an extraordinary array of subjects so skillfully, so ably. So can we give a big round of applause to all of them? I have to thank all of you, too, for being here, being so engaged, for being a wonderful audience. And I'm including not just all of those of you in the room, but those participating in our satellite events and watching online. It's been a joy to be with you all. I'd like to give a special shout out to all the students who embraced this opportunity so brilliantly and will, I'm sure, need to sleep for at least a week to recover from the action-packed program that my colleagues designed for them. Students. And last, but by no means least on my list of thank yous, I must also acknowledge the incredibly hard-working Academy staff team who've slaved away on all our behalves to make sure that we have a great experience. And while many, many staff have played a role, there are some people who've been literally eating, sleeping, breathing Global Grand Challenges Summit for the last few months, in some cases even years. So I'm going to ask two representatives on behalf of those teams to come up. They are Ivana McIntosh and Nick Eckersley-Waite, who've led the two main summit teams. I'm going to invite them onto the stage, and also Shane, our head of international partnerships, who himself has been crucial, and he's going to hand over a small token of our appreciation. Ivana and Nicola. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Take a bow. Come and take a bow. Thank you. Thanks all. Right. Now the tricky bit. It's virtually impossible to do justice to the tremendous range of insights and perspectives that we've had the opportunity to explore over the last few days. And it's positively ridiculous to try to give a one-word answer to the two questions that we posed at the start, which I'm sure you all remember, are will AI and other transformational technologies change humanity for the better, and can we sustain a population of 10 billion? But if you really, really forced me, I would say that the answer that I've heard to both is a conditional yes. And I'm going to just try very bravely to pick out a few of the themes that I think have emerged and which I hope give an insight into the kind of factors that we're associating with that conditionality. So firstly, I've been struck by the really intergenerational nature of the conversations we've had. It's a strand that's permeated our program. We started, of course, with two outstanding young people who were immensely inspirational. I mean, 2 of them were 20 years old, and they were just Personally, I have to say, I'm a little less happy about how shabby they made the rest of us look. You know, being upstaged by a 13-year-old is not great for your self-esteem, but I can forgive them that. And of course, what I really think is that they provided a great vision of hope. And in an unpredictable world, I'm willing to predict that when the next generation is running the world, things are going to look a little different, or maybe a lot different, and in a very good way. But actually, lots of people from all ages talked about inspiration coming from childhood, whether it was our Africa Prize finalist or the creator of the technology that we now all know as Amazon Alexa. We also talked about the innate qualities that are often visible when you watch young children play, and which actually underpin the engineer's way of thinking, what we call engineering habits of mind, qualities such as creativity, problem solving, systems thinking. And those habits of mind are universal qualities and capabilities that we're absolutely going to need to cultivate and deploy if we're going to tackle the global grand challenges of our time. In some ways, they also reflect some of the qualities that make us innately human. And as technology becomes ever more powerful, ever more pervasive in our lives, focusing on where we as humans can add most value will be crucial. I was struck by the fact that even for many of you who are actually amongst those who are probably most familiar with, most comfortable with technology, the pace of change is becoming a concern. And we've been repeatedly reminded of the responsibility of engineers to engage with wider society, to consider the ethical implications of our work. We've heard words like inclusion and equity, justice, and we need to make sure that engineers also have the tools and confidence to do so. I have a friend here. I also think that in this increasingly connected, data-driven, technology-enabled world, this summit has reinforced once again the value of human contact and community. It's provided us with a chance to interact with people who we don't necessarily already know, maybe don't already feel empathy with, a chance to participate in a dialogue that traverses generational and geographic and cultural and disciplinary boundaries, to engage with those who are experts in other fields or who aren't experts. And the spirit of generosity with which people have exchanged knowledge and ideas and experience in the service of embracing and addressing these global goals, for me, has been really heartening. And to me, this also very much reflects the spirit of academies, a vehicle through which you can give back to society, but in the process be enriched yourself. You give much and you receive much. The Global Grand Challenges Summit Series is also an example of the role of academies in convening and fostering collaboration. This summit has reminded us of the huge, sometimes almost overwhelming challenges that we face already as a global community of engineers. And no doubt there are more waiting down the line. Collaboration right across our global community is going to be absolutely essential if we are to make progress. And the summits have already been and will continue to be valuable touch points in that process. Many of you are already connected to one of the academies through participation in other programs that we run. And one of the reasons that we've invited you to be here for this summit is because we want the Global Grand Challenges to be a thread that's woven through the web, our canvas of activity. We don't want this to just be a moment in time. We want this to be part of a movement, a mobilization of engineers who have the skills, the confidence, the networks, the partnerships to really accelerate progress towards solutions and responses to our most pressing global challenges. And by being here today, whether that's in the room or remotely, you are part of that. And I'm asking you to play your full part in that mobilization. Please share your learning and your insights with friends and colleagues. When you return to your day job or your studies or whatever it is that you normally do when you're not sitting in a darkened auditorium, consider what changes can you make that will help us to advance our collective effectiveness in contributing to global challenges. Follow up with people you've met here, mentor someone, share your knowledge with someone. Let us know at the academies how we can keep upping our game. In closing the Global Grand Challenges Summit 2019, our academy will pass the baton, will over to our friends and colleagues at the Chinese Academy of Engineering, who will host the next summit in 2 years' time. And we're really looking forward to working with our US and Chinese Academy friends in the interim. In the meantime, we, the Royal Academy of Engineering, will also be carrying forward the work of engaging engineers in addressing global challenges, with our next key staging post scheduled for UNESCO World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development on the 4th of March. And you're going to hear more about that in due course. But for now, I would like to say a very warm goodbye and wish you safe travels. You've been marvelous companions on the journey so far. Please stay with us on this really crucial journey and help us to make sure that in 10, 20, 30 years' time, we can reconvene to reflect on all the progress that we've made and the immensely positive impact that engineers have had in realizing a more sustainable, equitable, joyful planet. And with that final thought, I declare this summit closed. Thank you.
I've got visual.
We're solving real world problems to have real outputs that make a difference to people.
It's really satisfying knowing that what I've made is going to help someone's life.
In engineering, we can look at problems in the world and generate the solution.